talk about a company called Perplexity. And before I talk about Perplexity, let me talk about what everybody is talking about on the internet, which is DeepSeek
DeepSeek.
versus ChatGPT. If you don't know about what has been happening in the online space for the last, let's say, 2 weeks, there's a company that is called DeepSeek, and everybody is saying DeepSeek has come to disrupt ChatGPT. And let me give you a small understanding of what ChatGPT is, DeepSeek is, and then now I talk about the main reason for this story, which is a company called Perplexity. Now, DeepSeek, ChatGPT is an open, a large language model, which is, to put it simply, it's an AI, an an AI system that gives you answers in a better way than a normal search would. And it's a language model which allows it to have a conversational type of feedback with you. So you can previously, for those who Google and for those who go to Bing or Safari, what you do is you go and say top 10 car brands, and then Google would give you a list of companies, not the top 10. It will give you a list of maybe blogs or a list
Websites.
of rankings, yeah, of websites that have maybe done a ranking of those companies. Now with ChatGPT, you can go and ask, you can even do a sentence, say, I want a list of top 10 car brands with sales records per year, and it will generate for you. It will say, thank you, I have understood your question, or these are the top 10. It is a conversational, and it will list you for those companies. It will list you the sales numbers, and it can even give you additional resources on and even ask you, how can I improve this question. Maybe do you want, maybe per region or per country, do you want to know why this company is the leading, do you want to know user reviews? So it can give you better. Now, what does that mean? That means for a person who is doing, for such experience, I have gotten a lot of information. I've actually gotten more or less what I asked for. In this
Faster.
other old experience, yeah, and I've gotten it actually faster. Thank you. I didn't have to go through 10 websites, because what would happen when you read ranking, one website would tell you this one is the top, another one would tell you this one is the top, another one would give you a long story before it reaches to the top 10. Now, ChatGPT used to do that for the longest time. I think it's been 2 years now. ChatGPT has been a leader in doing that. Then, so why was ChatGPT the best, the leader? Because it was the first one to do it. Second is because they use something called closed source. Their model was closed source, meaning that the way they developed that system to allow you to give you those fast results, it was only known to their engineers. And of course, they had some very strict non-disclosure arrangements and whatnot. So you could only consume what ChatGPT was giving you. You didn't know how they were even. Of course, you understood how they come up with those ideas, but you didn't fully understand. You didn't fully have an understanding of the infrastructure that drives that engine. Then a company called Facebook by Mr. Zuckerberg came and said, "I why is it? I also have money. Why does one company have to dominate this space?" And they came up with their own large language model called Llama. Now, Llama was open source. Open source means if you are a developer, you can come to that platform and build on it. You have for those people in the tech space, something called the source code. You understand how this thing works and you can improve on it. Llama came and did that. Google, they were like, "Hey, these guys are disrupting our space." Now we come up with
Yeah.
a one called Gemini. It's called Google Gemini. The first launch was a disaster. It was coming up with some very weird answers. They went back, came back again. But by the time they were coming back again, Llama had taken center stage, and so did ChatGPT. And because Llama was not as good as ChatGPT, because ChatGPT had a year's head start, and ChatGPT was closed source. ChatGPT grew and allowed ChatGPT became the most downloaded app in Apple Store. That is globally. People were downloading more ChatGPTs than they were downloading anything else. Which then meant the reach for ChatGPT and the ability for ChatGPT to train. Because the thing about those AI tools is they learn with every prompt. So if I'm asking about the top 10 and I say maybe this answer was good, and then Vicky goes and asks and she says the answer was bad, then the model learns itself, so that when I ask about it next month, it can give me a different answer because it has learned from the other searches. In Google, the search were based on something called SEO, which is how you optimize your website to rank. It was not even about the best information out there. So that also another benefit. Now, over those years, ChatGPT was able to offer that service, and it was able to charge for that service. It was charging $20 a month for the normal service. Now, last week, there was an announcement of a company called DeepSeek. Now, DeepSeek is quote unquote a ChatGPT but made by China. ChatGPT is an American company owned by a company called OpenAI. Oh, let me also give you another backstory. OpenAI was a company that was founded by some researchers whose idea was to it's very actually ironical. The idea was to provide AI infrastructure and tools and research to the world, initially open source. So the idea had been actually to offer this thing we call ChatGPT for free. But then this gentleman called Sam Altman, after launching this product, was like, companies now want to invest. They've got investments of about 6 billion since they
Yeah.
started, and it was like, I no, this thing, Bana, it can't be free. So
But
they
of course,
started.
when
They
people
they changed
invest,
the
they
model.
want money.
Yes, and they had to find a way to monetize. And remember, in their understanding, and there are several interviews Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, did, and he was so sure no company can match there. Maybe it was him just trying to dissuade people from investing, but he was so certain that no company would ever beat them in terms of quality. He would say they would be compared. People would try. That's what he say. You can try, but I can guarantee you will never be as good as us. But people tried because when there is, like I told you, when there is money to be made, when there is an opportunity, people heavily invest. Now, come this week, last 2 weeks, company it was known that a company called ChatGPT, DeepSeek, a Chinese company, was doing same thing as ChatGPT, but now better, if not equal, and it was free. So whatever answers you would need to pay for on ChatGPT, you are getting it for free, and it's a Chinese company. Now, the biggest kicker to OpenAI and the other language models like Gemini was these guys were saying, you guys spent 6 billion, CC we spent $600 million, a fraction of that amount to make our model as good as you. The by the time the markets were opening, the stock market was opening, companies were going. The first week, we had 1 billion loss in terms of all the investments. The companies that are associated with AI, these are Nvidia, as Microsoft, the chip manufacturers, semiconductor manufacturers, all of them were taking a dive because people had said, wait, if China is making these things for a fraction of the value, and the infrastructure, which are the chips that are used to make, America has banned even China from getting these tools. But somehow, China has been able to acquire. Of course, the first rumor was that China was using the old tools to make it. Then it was discovered that China was actually buying those chips from through back channels to to get their stuff up to the space. But either way, these guys have a good tool, and the world went berserk, and they were like, no, ChatGPT has been lying to us, and this thing is going to go open source. But everything is revealed in time. So last week, I think let last week, let this week, sorry, let this week, it was discovered by some researchers. I don't know if it is true because I'm not an engineer in this thing. They're saying from the research, what they know is ChatGPT is still the best tool in the market. DeepSeek I think they did something, I can't remember what they called, but it's like they duplicated ChatGPT for their own use. And of course, then if you duplicate the platform, then it is easier for you to then replicate the answers and do whatnot. But so now the markets have stabilized and people are like, okay. And in fact, another news that came was that if indeed what DeepSeek is saying is true, then it will only increase the demand for AI usage. And when you increase the demand, you still need servers, you still need those chips. So guys are like, okay, if then this is the case and more people are now going to be using it because it's free, then still there'll be demand for Nvidia chips, and Microsoft will still get better at it. Now those companies have been slowly recovering, but what we are sure now is investors are no longer going to just be pumping money into these AI companies without first asking, can it be done cheaper? So first of all, there has been like a break in terms of, because every company was spending. Microsoft was spending 80 billion this year. Zuckerberg was spending, I think, 60 billion, if not 70 billion this year. And interestingly, this week or last week was the week that these companies were announcing their financial results. But they still said that they were going to invest, continue to invest heavily. However, what almost all of them kept saying was that because we don't know what the future is, we'll still invest heavily because we know that the people who have the best infrastructure will be the leaders. But we anticipate that in time it'll our investments into this infrastructure will go down because of economies of scale, but also because the models will get better at doing the same results for less, for much less. So clearly, maybe it will be 1 year, but surely enough, the cost of running these models is going to get significantly cheaper. Now,
Yeah.
where does a company called Perplexity come in?
I'm
Now we've
just
talked about
thinking
Perplexity.
there on the
Mm,
when you try, if you've tested the chat GPT and the DeepSeek,
DeepSeek.
it sometimes makes sense because when you ask the same questions on both, you'll
Mm,
realize that you are getting almost the same answer. It's just that with DeepSeek, it's more it's formatted in a way that
mm,
looks more like a complete document, that you don't need so much editing of bold, italics, and arrangement of the
mm,
bulletins and the likes. And then, of course, even as you mentioned about the cost, fundings and people pumping in money on AI, I think even the
mm.
data centers will be affected, the ones that have been signed by Trump. Because now
Yeah,
their
definitely. It is
total
not going
cost
to be
was
500
500
billion.
billion. Now they have to really think.
Yeah.
The
That
CEO
number is now
of
absurd. And
ChatGPT now has to really sit
yeah,
down and think, okay, how can we be able to
agreed,
optimize
agreed.
the resources? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And in fact, it's when you mentioned about the results that you're getting, what has happened, of course, we are recording this video on in February, but as at the late January, Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, announced that they are going to be bringing the reasoning. I can't remember what he called it, but a reasoning um, structure in OpenAI in ChatGPT. What if you used DeepSeek? DeepSeek engages. It's like it's reasoning on its own. So when you ask a question on DeepSeek, sometimes it's like it takes you through the steps it's going through to come up with your answer. And analysts and programmers argue that that is a better model because it prioritizes quality over speed. Because ChatGPT, when I ask about maybe top 10 car brands, it will not take more than 30 seconds for ChatGPT to generate for me an answer. Um, a DeepSeek might get into a model, try to understand what are these companies, what is the top brand. So and it will show me the reasoning, and then it will give me the answer. And now what that means is it allows the machine or the AI tool to learn more and also to give you a better reasoned answer. And you can, because you are seeing the reasoning, you can tell it no, the way you're reasoning this is wrong. But ChatGPT, you don't know how it reasons; it just gives you an answer. So ChatGPT is introducing the reasoning tool. You'll be able to click on it or to just go to use the default for free to users. So again, like you said, because these guys are giving this tool for free, it does not make sense for anybody to use ChatGPT. And I suspect they are seeing the drop in usage of ChatGPT in preference for DeepSeek. So it's also a survival thing that these guys are doing. Now, where does this company called Perplexity come in? Now, when Perplexity started, even I was even I was bashing them, saying that ChatGPT, what is it called? Perplexity is another ChatGPT, which it's not actually. It is a model that is doing what ChatGPT does. But over the last 2 weeks, I've learned that ChatGPT and Perplexity, while they appear to be the same, they are largely different. How is that so? So ChatGPT, you go to ChatGPT and ask it, I want to know how to become a better marketer. ChatGPT will give you those answers. And you can take it, maybe use it for whatever reason you do, any type of research. The Perplexity, what it does is, first of all, I'll show you how different this is. Perplexity. is like, I would say it's like Google, what Google should have done when they learned about the AI race. Because
Yeah.
Google started fighting ChatGPT instead of being a better search engine. Now let me just show you one thing. You remember the news we did about what this company AI and not AI, SpaceX and not SpaceX, yeah, SpaceX and
X and
X and Nini and what's the
Starlink.
company, and Starlink. If anybody who has been using ChatGPT, Perplexity might have been wondering, I thought Perplexity is like another ChatGPT, but lo and behold, ChatGPT is another website. It's like another Google. Why? ChatGPT, when you open it, it will take you to the search space. But these days, ChatGPT, it will take you to the home because usually that's what people are. But these days, when you go to Perplexity, you can go to and choose Discover. Discover basically gives you the top news that are happening, and you can tweak it. You can say, I want the top news. I want, because me, I'm interested in tech, finance, and entertainment. Those are the things that it will give me. It will give me the top. So if you are a normal browser who has never used AI, then you'd be like, hey, this looks just like another Google browser, right? So it is almost mimicking the Google browser or Safari, whatever browser tool you use. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It's because ChatGPT can't give you this. ChatGPT will, you go to ChatGPT, you want an answer, you want to know the how to become a better marketer, you search. These guys, you come, you can engage with it like a website, and then now you can go and just do instead of ask. For Google, it will tell you ask or discover. I don't know what, like, that's how long it's been since I used Google. So here you'll come and do a new thread. When you come and do a new thread, then it asks you to ask anything, and then of course you will do your ask. And then this one is like in Google, it will be your history. So you have histories. You have your history. They call it your library. Now here is why ChatGPT is different from Perplexity, or Perplexity is different from ChatGPT. Like I told you, first of all, what that guy, the person who is the CEO of ChatGPT, is actually a PhD researcher. And what he realized was, he said what he realized was ChatGPT is like a smart student. It has all this information. But what most users want is, they want two things. They want to trust, and they want to enjoy their experience with that platform. So ChatGPT, people trust ChatGPT, but most people don't like the ChatGPT's user interface is so it's just there. These guys, what they decided to do was, they were going to try to continue the experience people have on Google, but just make it better and people to trust their results. How do people ChatGPT? Like I told you last time, that ChatGPT's results, rarely do they have references, and when you go and check references, they are usually hallucinations. They are not even there. They are not clickable. But they did that because people are saying ChatGPT lies. So I think it was just the developers try to create an impression that they actually have sources. Now, let's go through why how ChatGPT is different from this one. If I go to Perplexity, again, Perplexity, you can just go and Google Perplexity, you'll get this one. You can even get it as an app, and then you can close. It usually comes with a pop-up of you to pay the $20. You can close. Another reason, that guy was asked, why are you charging $20 and we know you get your results from Google, from ChatGPT, and it was like, we believe that our product is superior, if not the same quality as ChatGPT. And if we charge it $10 or $15, the market would see is that we are subsidizing ChatGPT, but we are not subsidizing ChatGPT. We believe our product is just as good. Now, let's just do one example, and then I explain to you how these guys are going to survive this whole race. So, Vicky, tell me what you would want to know today.
What would I want to know today? Just search about whatever you're talking about, the DeepSeek.
Yes, what is DeepSeek, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is DeepSeek? You don't even have to have a question mark, but let's just say, what is DeepSeek? So you see, it the first thing it tells me first is where it's getting its information. Now it will tell me it's getting it from Wikipedia, TechTarget, DeepSeek itself, and then other places. And this is the answer. Look at how well that answer is structured. I bet you are not going to get this on Google. Google, you'd have to read all these one, two, three, four, five, and all these other sources for you to get this. Now, this is the power of AI, now integrating AI with now the user experience. This is now how they are better. ChatGPT would give me probably the key features and not tell me maybe it will tell me this answer, but it don't tell me where it's getting that answer. Then it and if it told me those most of those clicks don't work, I don't know why ChatGPT still does that. Now when I come and hover here, it will tell me where it's getting these sources. Now why is this important? Most people who find most usage on ChatGPT are people who are doing research. If you're just looking for the top brands or maybe a car company in your region, you can use Google and you won't have a problem, or you can or ask a friend. But when you want to understand more about a subject, usually you want to know where is this product. If I don't know how how you search, Vicky, but when I'm researching for even the topics that we are discussing, or when I'm researching for something in my workplace, I usually want to know, is this platform telling me the truth, or is this something that I can actually verify?
Yeah.
And for
But
most
I think
people, ChatGPT was,
Gemini is implementing the same as Perplexity.
yes, I have
Because
seen
of
it,
the fact,
but it's not
yeah.
as good. It is it and it's put it like it's still under experiment. It is not a fully launched
But that's where
product.
they are headed because they have already seen what Perplexity is
Definitely,
doing.
they'll head there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what has happened with ChatGPT and this whole story of DeepSeek, I'm getting to why this company is going to be a very serious player. Now you see, it gives me the sources, and of course it gives me another thing that it does is it tells me like it prompts me other related questions. ChatGPT doesn't do this. ChatGPT will ask me, how
Same
can I
as
improve this?
Google.
This one is it is telling me how does that speak compare to ChatGPT. I can click on it and it will generate for me that answer. You see? And then
Okay.
it starts showing me the thread, and of course, again, key thing is sources. Even when you're doing your research for your workplace, your boss will ask you, where did you get this data? Or where did you get it? Because for most businesses, whatever you say has to be backed by a source. You can't just tell your boss, I went and googled it on ChatGPT. That is the worst response you can give. Now, that's the third thing. The first thing is, first of all, it has a better user experience. The second thing, it has sources, so you can verify. The third thing is, which ChatGPT might implement or might not, is, you see these things on the side. These are just images, but they're working with advertisers, and very soon you will be seeing adverts relevant to your search on this side. So
Right.
it will be a better Google, a better experience for users, because you will still, and it now works for both two people. The problem with ChatGPT, it worked for the consumer, it didn't work for the marketers, and also for the people who own those blogs. So you will also, I suspect you'll also be able to do SEO with these platforms to allow you to rank
I'm
your
also seeing
website
the
in the right.
options for videos.
Mm,
There's also the option for videos. Maybe even the YouTube
yes.
videos will appear here if you talk about the
Yes.
same topic. Yeah.
So you can search video. I think what this means is you can search maybe video content, or you can ask it to generate video. I think
Yeah.
it's still under beta, but you will
Yeah.
be able to search that. And this is, so why is DeepSeek? DeepSeek learns has been predominantly learning on ChatGPT's. They have APIs, which means they are linked to the data API has. Of course, the API ChatGPT has. Of course, they pay them a fee, but they are linked to it. ChatGPT, as it stands, it only has its own data, right? Perplexity can access to Llama. Okay, Llama it can't, because Llama is also closed source. But when they do it, they can access it. No, Llama is open source, so they can have access to Llama, but they have been training their data largely on ChatGPT. Now with DeepSeek, these guys don't have to enter into another arrangement. They just need to plug into DeepSeek, which is open source. So what that means is your answers will now be more refined, because they'll be getting trained by both ChatGPT as well as DeepSeek's engines. So that's, in my view, this is going to be among the companies that benefit from this whole competition, because with them, all they need to do is plug into the training models and then generate for you an answer. So for you, the user, you are getting better quality, and then for those platforms, of what, they're getting traffic. But a company like ChatGPT can't plug into DeepSeek, so it can only be as good as the data that it mines on its own. And of course,
Yeah.
Google's Gemini, they also have proprietary data. Now I suspect Google's data will get better, because they have YouTube data, they have no, I
Yes.
suspect They have
Yes.
not shared yet with any other person, so they have a lot of data. But how they implement it is where I think there might be will decide the winners and losers. But Perplexity, in my view, is currently the one of the biggest beneficiaries of this whole competition in terms of this space. Another thing that I would say, even as I close, is previously when this AI race started, people were saying, the big ChatGPT and the Nvidias, the guys making the chips. There's even a famous saying in the marketing world, where not in the marketing finance world, where they say when there's a gold rush, the people who make the most money are the guys who make the shovels. So the people who actually make when there's a gold rush, meaning when people are going for a trend, the people who make the most money are the people who provide the tools to go and mine. Because when you're doing a gold rush, people just will mine everywhere to get
Mm,
and they need shovels. So in this case, the shovel people were ChatGPT, not ChatGPT,
ChatGPT.
were Nvidia and those semiconductor companies, data warehouses, and those guys. But now what is coming out is also that even as people continue mining for this gold, there are some pockets of opportunity if you really understand where this trend is going. And where this trend is going seems to be going towards apps. Yes, I know it is. It sounds like, are we going back to to the same old apps and chatbots? The only difference that will happen is that these chatbots will just be smarter and they'll be more intuitive. So what I said, if in my view, Perplexity in my view is an app. So what they do is they now provide search results in a better way than ChatGPT would do. You'll find another app that will be a marketing app that will just and a chat or a chatbot that will just provide good marketing plans and marketing strategies. You'll find another tool that will just be designed for doing the best images with the simplest of prompts. So you still train it on this data, but now it will be a specialized tool. And what is a specialized tool in tech? It's an app. So you'll find most a growth in the apps. But then other people are arguing that, okay, so there'll be a rise in app, but that will also be short-lived. In the end, all these tools, these apps will start talking to each other. That's why when you hear AI agents, these are basically apps that do specialized tools. You want a chatbot that just talks to customers and answers all your customer queries and tells you the report. That's an app. It trains data. By the way, what people imagine is that the only data that can be trained is this chat GPT data, public data. But as a company, assuming you're like Safaricom, which has a lot of data, or a company like in the financial space, a bank, you also have your own data that you can train with. That's the opportunity with this, how AI agents are going to do. So you'll be able to train your data and say, now you hire a developer to create for you a chat or chatbot or an app that can better answer client queries without needing to have 20 or 30 um, what are they called, customer care agents. So there's also that whole trend, but of course it remains to be seen. But argument is that even the apps and the agents, this is just going to be a short period before we move to another level where now these AI tools are just almost doing everything for themselves. And the only
Yeah.
people who will benefit will be business owners and shareholders. Yeah. Anyway, that's it about my. Would like to hear your thoughts. Especially, I'm very passionate about where this world is headed. In terms of this AI evolution, I'm also very keen to see how I, as a person, can better serve my customers, especially in terms of data analytics and in the marketing space. And I'd also like to hear your thoughts about how do you think this AI transformation is going to impact your business. I just like to leave you with one thing that I had the CEO of Microsoft saying. He's called Satya Nadella. One, he was asked, so if I am a person who is entering the work market or a tech guy, what should I do? And he said that if you are starting out in your career, the best thing you can do is, of course I'm paraphrasing his words, the best thing you can do is optimize with what is available, learn how to use what is available to optimize and be more productive. Whether you are a tech guy, whether you are a marketer, whether you are a teacher, whatever you have, learn to use what is available to optimize for what you currently do to make yourself more productive and save time, and then continuously think about what problem you have that you think this evolution of AI can can solve. So maybe you are a teacher, and you struggle with coming up with assignments, or you struggle with maybe grading your students, or knowing which student has the best potential. Maybe that is the difficult question, but the immediate question is, you can come up with topics to, if you are content, let's again, if you're a teacher, if you want to simplify maybe a math problem to your students, right now you can use AI to come up with that, and be a better educator. But if your problem is, how do I identify potential, then you can start thinking about, how do I identify the best students before time? And sure enough, when that wave comes, you'll be better prepared for that. So work with what you have to optimize yourself, but always think about, what big problem do you have that AI can solve? And when you start thinking about that, even before that AI level reaches there, chances are you'll have figured it out through the tools, because tools are evolving every day. When we sleep, tomorrow we wake up, AI will be doing something better than it's currently doing. So I'll leave you with that, and please, please, please reach out to us for all your marketing and business development needs. And see you in the next one. Bye.